As I always say, a good row starts with extra books. So our first day rowing, we made a trip to the library, which my kids do enjoy. Besides just the books, the activities the library does carry for them. So that was our first day. Along with our 5-in-a-row curriculum, we also use Exploring Nature with Children. One of our activities, of course, is to take a nature walk. So we walked down to our local park, and one of the things to look for was finding a bird song, and we did with the American crow.
It's him. You see him. Look at him. Watch his mouth open when the sounds are made.
After the park time and bird sighting and nature walks, we decided to have some lunch before we walked back home. It was a fun afternoon. The weather was nice. Our Wednesdays have been pretty typical. My son loves making lists when we head to the grocery store. We picked up some snacks. Of course, we made them bug themed because we are talking about the Salamander Room, so we have all sorts of insects and whatnot in there. Our poetry, of course, we are still doing the Robert Frost poetry around our home. This time around, we didn't use Art Hub as usual. My son has actually been enjoying the How to Draw books for his Wednesday art time. For math, we did as the manual suggested for multiplication for my oldest son, and then for the littles, we actually had them just count and group in colors and in numbers as far as our little insects go. We also did this activity where I've really been liking it for my 4-year-old to be tearing up papers and then putting it together to make one whole thing. This is our tree for our Salamander Room, where he made one, and I believe my son also made one. My daughter, on the other hand, her and my youngest son went out and picked up some ivy from outside, just fresh ivy from one of our trees I was wrapping around, to recreate their own Salamander Room. The finish was really nice. This week we are doing the Salamander Room. So in this area, I've actually moved my books into a different corner of our house. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what we have going on. So here's our basket. In this one, I'm doing a lot of our reading books. We're going to be reading The Secret Garden throughout this week, next week, for 3 weeks. I should be done by then. But for whatever reason, we have 3 weeks to get through. It's going to be our read aloud throughout the day. We'll probably do like 1 or 2 chapters a day. This is the bug that laid a golden egg. That's going to be one of our books. My Daddy Longlegs. Of course, you can't talk about insects without the Very Hungry Caterpillar for the littles. Caterpillar's Wish and Insect Detective are the main reads that we're going to have here. And we'll read these throughout either tea time, or if we're not doing our poetry, or during our 15 minutes of just reading time that we have daily. They can grab one of those books. During art, I do pick up these How to Draw Insect books. This one's really neat. And then, of course, we picked up an Artsy Facts Insect Bugs and Art Activity book as well. So if the kids want to get through that. At the very back, I just have our Robert Frost poetry book, which we're doing the spring one out of there. I believe it's called A Prayer for Spring is the one we are currently doing right now. So that is our reading basket that the kids can pull from. They can pull from any of these books, but that's our reading one. So, like I mentioned, we are doing the Salamander Room this week. Next week, we will be doing, I already forgot, Peter Rabbit. So some of these books you're going to see that will change out in this corner, but majority of them will stay. So we have the Children's Guide to Insect and Spiders. We're going to keep that one because that's for gardens. We have iguanas, we have Insect World, we have insects, killer ants, frogs, another insects, and then of course our Salamander Room. And right next to it, the kids have their Salamander Room recreation that they made. They did a lot of just paper cutting and gluing here, and then we just got a whole bunch of little insect bugs that they have with their dens, and we have some fresh ivy from outside.